February 2026 went down in history as the start of the most expensive conflict of modern times. In just 6 days, the United States budget lost $11 billion. Operation Epic Fury, a code name the whole world now knows. The first week of combat operations against Iran showed that the cost of war grows by the hour. The Pentagon reports 6,000 targets hit. But behind these numbers lie not only military successes, but also colossal financial costs that shocked even the Senate. In a closed briefing, defense officials confirmed $11.3 billion, almost $2 billion a day. How long can this continue? To understand the madness of these figures, $5.5 billion were spent on precision-guided munitions alone in the first 48 hours. That's the annual budget of some nations. Arsenals accumulated over years are being consumed in days. Analysts at the Center for Strategic Studies warned of the costs, but reality has exceeded all forecasts. 2 carrier groups and B-2 Spirit strategic bombers are involved in the operation. Every sortie costs hundreds of thousands of dollars in fuel and maintenance. Are American taxpayers ready to pay this bill indefinitely, or are we on the brink of financial exhaustion for the world's largest economy? The conflict triggered the largest oil supply disruption in history. The Strait of Hormuz, the world's energy artery, is effectively blocked by combat. Oil prices have jumped to $110 a barrel. Exports from Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Iraq dropped by 10 million barrels a day. It's a global shock. Inside the United States, gas prices are hitting records. The Department of Energy was forced to tap the strategic reserve, releasing 172 million barrels. Lawmakers in the Senate are expressing extreme concern. The defense industry is at its limit, and the White House is preparing a request for an additional $50 billion. Replenishing weapon stocks takes not only money, but time. But Washington may not have time, as attention must be divided between 2 fronts. The massive transfer of forces to the Middle East has created a dangerous vacuum in the Asia-Pacific region, and local players immediately took advantage of this. South Korea, under President Lee Jae-myung, has begun its own diplomatic game, using the situation to strengthen its influence in the region. In March 26, Lee Jae-myung arrived in Manila. This is the formation of a new defense alliance amidst the diversion of U.S. resources. South Korea's HD Hyundai is becoming a major player in the Philippine arms market. Potential submarine contracts are valued in trillions of won. Meanwhile, Seoul is unhappy. Washington is withdrawing air defense systems from Korean soil to redeploy them toward Iran. Allied security sacrificed for a new war. Japan is not standing aside either. For the first time, plans have emerged for Tokyo to transfer 6 Abukuma-class destroyers to the Philippines to create a new maritime shield. This is an attempt to contain Chinese expansion while Washington's main resources are tied up in the conflict with Tehran. Alliances are shifting on the fly. Can this maritime shield replace the American presence, or are we seeing the beginning of the end of U.S. dominance in the Pacific? Meanwhile, a third of all U.S. Navy surface forces are already concentrated in the Middle East. A logistical operation of this scale requires flawless back-end support. Refueling planes and supply vessels are working without pause. Every supply container is another line in the ballooning military budget. Analysts are warning of resource fatigue. Equipment is wearing out, people are at their limits, and the $11 billion hole is just the tip of the iceberg. Despite Iran, Manila confirms joint exercises in April will proceed as scheduled. The U.S. is trying to prove it has enough strength for everyone. But is that really true? At least 2 destroyers were urgently redeployed from Japan. Weakening the Japanese group is a risk Washington takes for control of the Strait of Hormuz. We are witnessing a strategic deadlock. To win the war in the Middle East, the U.S. has to leave its flanks in Asia exposed. It's a dangerous zero-sum game. Beijing is closely monitoring every move of the American destroyers. The more resources go to Iran, the less chance Washington has to deter rivals in other regions. Energy security is becoming a key theme. Lee Jae-myung and the Philippine president agreed to restart the Bataan nuclear power plant. The world is seeking alternatives to oil. Nickel and cobalt are the new oil of 26. The Philippines and Korea are creating a battery supply chain, seeking independence from global shocks. Technological sovereignty is becoming the only salvation. While the U.S. spends billions on old war methods, Asia is building the foundation for a new economy. $11.3 billion in 6 days. These aren't just figures in a Pentagon report. They are the price of a choice that will define the world for decades. The result of the first week of Epic Fury, A massive concentration of force, record spending, and the start of tectonic shifts in global geopolitics. What comes next? The war economy consumes resources at a frightening pace. But even more dangerous is that it distracts from long-term threats to global prosperity. South Korean and Japanese shipbuilding technologies are creating unprecedented potential. This is a new maritime shield being built right before our eyes, right now. The Trump administration has gone all in, but is there enough political capital to see this operation through without collapsing the trust of allies? Public opinion inside the country is starting to splinter. While some see it as defending interests, others wonder, was it really worth it in the end? The world of 26 is a world of total instability. Old alliances are fraying, while new ones are born right in the fire of the Middle East conflict, time and again. $110 oil is just the beginning. If the conflict drags on, we will see numbers that change the global energy market forever, forever. Think about that. The withdrawal of air defenses from Korea was a blow to Seoul's trust. Washington is trying to convince allies it's temporary, but faith in the American umbrella has been seriously shaken. South Korea's HD Hyundai is already supplying frigates to the Philippines. Now, submarines are next. Asia is taking its security into its own hands, not waiting for decisive steps from Washington. Will the United States remain the world's policeman after epic fury, or will this conflict be the final chapter in the history of a unipolar world? What do you think? We will know the answer to this question in the coming months. But one thing is clear now. The old world order is gone, in the shadow of Iranian mountains and American carriers, forever. 11 billion in 6 days, 50 billion tomorrow, and hundreds of billions in the future. The war economy is merciless. We continue to monitor the cost of this choice. Until next time.